Hey fellow world dwellers, it's Angry Turtle, and today we are covering a very important topic, buff stacking. And no, not any kind of an exploit, just intended mechanic of buff stacking in Fallout 76. What does it mean? All type of the food that you can stack on top of together, all type of the damage buffs, and that will be probably the main focus, the damage buffs and everything that can interact, everything that you can add on top, what you can and what you cannot do. So there is a lot. There is as many rules as exceptions from the rules, so that's unfortunate. But I will try to go slowly over it and make it as easy as possible for you. So let's start from the biggest of all categories, food and drink. So food icon in here, drink icon in here. That's one category. There are different categories. There's category for chems, category for alcohols, there's separate category for bobbleheads, magazines, and separate rules. But the biggest one is food and drink. And what that will be, like company tea is in this category. It doesn't matter if it's food or a drink. It's all one category. So company tea, cooked soft shell meat, Miluk jerky, pemmican, all of those items. Something like those are regular food without bonuses are in this category too. Can be used for very temporary boost to AP. That's coffee-related topics. I already covered infinite VATs and coffee uses and so on separately. Deathglow steak, that gives you additional strength. So what you can stack in this category? Basically, you can have one of each, whatever that is. So you can see I have here AP regeneration, and I cannot use another. If I would add something else that comes with AP regeneration and it's either food or drink, it will override my company tea. Extra action points. If I would use anything that adds extra action points, it will override this one. You cannot have multiple of the same thing, but you can have one of each. So usually it's the best to go for the highest bonus you can have. And those bonuses are affected by mutations, in my case carnivore, and can be further increased, so you'll see it will go up, if you equip Strange in Numbers. So that's related to food if you have mutation, either carnivore or herbivore. So that's the perk, Strange in Numbers, stronger mutations, therefore my carnivore mutation is stronger, and now it's from 40 to 50 action points, everything went up. And carry weight increased, everything went up. What if you are not a carnivore? It will not go up. If you are a herbivore, the different buffs will be stronger and it will go up. The herbivore has more power in regards to damage, as you can apply higher bonus to your critical damage and to your damage overall. As a carnivore, you are still allowed to use all kinds of tea, but only with the default value of the tea. Example here, sweet mud fruit tea. 50% extra crit damage. If I would be a herbivore, this would be 125% extra crit damage. So that's a difference. Herbivore is superior for damage output. Carnivore is superior for carry weight. So that's why I'm the carnivore. I'm carrying too much stuff. That's the main reason. So we can use that, and it will be added to everything else that I already have used. It's the same category. It's still food and drink, and I'm currently not using any, so if I use that, I go under effects. I have one more tea running. 50% crit damage. So food rules, food and drink, one category, you can have one of each bonuses. If you apply separate, previous one will be override. If I apply something else, for example for AP, I have here roasted Miluk meat, that's the same buff, but this one is 25. What if I pop it now? I will lose the good one and I will get the bad one. So you need to be careful when applying your buffs. Food and drink category, choose the best you have of each. Every single one that's different can be applied. The same one will override whatever previously you already eaten. Now the next category related to food and drink, but separate, alcohols. For example, in here, ballistic bog. Improve ballistic weapon damage by 15%, but increases the condition loss 15% for 5 minutes. And in description here, boost the damage of non-heavy, non-energy guns for 5 minutes. The effect cannot be boosted, is fixed. Even the perk that boosts effects of alcohols do not work on this one. So unfortunately, effect cannot be boosted, but can be used to increase your damage. And now it has a special alcohol icon. Important information about that. You can only have one alcohol active at a time, no matter if the bonus is the same or different. Like if I apply now completely different alcohol, for example, regular old possum, strength charisma doesn't give any damage bonuses. If I pop it now, you can see I have old possum, but I lost ballistic bog. So for alcohols, it's one. That's it. Doesn't matter what type of bonus, you can have one alcohol active at a time. Similar rule applies to chems. So if we go under 8 category, chems, one at a time, doesn't matter what that is. For example, I can use overdrive for damage and critical damage bonus. We'll pop that here. And it's active. Now chems, you will need to find under the biggest category. For whatever reason, under chem icon, you have like all the perk effects and so on that should be fixed in future patches. But at this moment of recording, everything is for some reason under chem icon. So I scroll down and overdrive is here, crit damage and overall damage bonus. In the past, it was possible to stack some chems that had different bonuses. But now, let's say I want to use something else, like Psycho buff. I pop it, and now there is no more overdrive. Overdrive is gone, and I only have Psycho buff bonus. So one chem at a time. You cannot stack at all, one of your choice. Next, we'll cover a little bit of exception from the rule. You are probably familiar with the new item that was added this season, Sunset Sarsaparilla. So that's new. It's giving you different kinds of Sunset Sarsaparilla, sometimes a big one with the best bonus. I currently probably don't have any big ones, but I have regular. So Sunset Sarsaparilla, where are you? There. Ballistic gun damage bonus as well, non-energy, non-heavy. So if you are a heavy gunner, this one will not help you out. But that's exception from the rule. For whatever reason, it's its own category. It's not food and drink. It's not alcohol. It's just something separate. So it doesn't interfere with anything else. It does show with this bottle, like a Nuka-Cola bottle, and with its bonus. So you can see it does not interfere with Black Eyed Susan Sufin, which is in food and drink category. So Sunset Sarsaparilla has its own category with one item in it. So you can always add Sunset Sarsaparilla to whatever loadout you are running and whatever boost you want to achieve. One can always be active. Black Eyed Susan Sufin, it's regular tea. So food and drink category. This is completely separate category. At this moment, we covered food and drink, one category with special rules. Then alcohol, separate category, one item active at a time. Then chems, another category, one item active at a time. Then Sunset Sarsaparilla, another category with only one item in it, so can be active always with whatever else you have. And that's not the end. Then we go into magazine and bobblehead. So magazine and bobblehead, those are two categories and they do follow the same rules and everything else, like alcohol, food and alcohol, chems. Not like food and drink. Food and drink is separate, as you can stack multiple. In this one, I can have one magazine active at a time of whatever kind I choose, and one bobblehead active at a time, whatever kind I choose, but I cannot have two at the same time active. So I need to choose one and run it. They cannot be stacked one at a time. If I want to boost small guns, if I'm already using ballistic bulk and so on. Small guns is everything that's not heavy. That's basically small guns. Everything that's not a heavy gun. That's a small gun in Fallout. That's easy to understand if you see it this way. Non-heavy boost and heavy is separate. So bobblehead for heavy guns is separate if I still have any there. Big guns, yeah, I do have a lot. And you can have one of each. They do not interfere with any other categories, so I can have small guns and I can have backwoodsman if I choose to. Backwoodsman doesn't really, I don't really need it, but I didn't want to waste any good one. So backwoodsman will pop, again not the biggest category ever with the Chem icon. Double yield from plants. Then small guns, bobblehead, ballistic damage, and the duration is extended thanks to a fair curator that someone is sharing, as I do not equip this one. So that's why I was curious why duration is double. Someone is sharing it. So the duration can be extended. Those are the magazines. Then there are additional buffs that are camp buffs. And camp buffs are like food and drink. So camp buff category, you can have one of each type, but you cannot stack them. In the past, some were stackable, so you're able to get 2 different luck bonuses from your camp and have +4 to your luck. But now you cannot anymore. That was removed. So charisma boost, I have +2 charisma for 30 minutes. And basically camp buffs, every single one can be applied. Intelligence boost, that's the camp buff. Easy to find, 30 minutes in duration, all of them. That's the sleep buff. Sleep buff is long, so Kindred Spirit, that's from sleeping at my camp, 5% bonus experience. Luck boost, +2 luck. So those are camp boosts, separate category from everything else, and works in the same manner as food and drink category. So you can see now, it's relatively easy to learn it after you figure out how it works. So there's food and drink, one category. Camp buffs, second category. The same rules apply to those both of those categories. You can have one of everything. And then you have alcohol, separate category. Chem, separate category. Sunset sarsaparilla, separate category. Magazine, separate category. Bobblehead, separate category. And all of that is stackable. Ally buffs. There is additional bonus. Some allies give buffs when you talk with them. This is once per day for 30 minutes to an hour, depend which ally. Of course, the best ally for buffs, especially for people that do farm Guardian and care about the damage, is Adelaide. Adelaide's buff is damage to robots and less damage taken from robots. So Adelaide's buff for damage, that's the one ally that gives you a good damage buff. When you start applying all of that, so your list will be longer and longer. All your active effects will be here, so you can easily figure out what is working, what isn't. Some of the buffs, of course, are very short, like Chem and alcohol, so very temporary ones. But it's still good to know what can be and what cannot be stacked together. Let me know if this video was helpful. And do you like to use temporary buffs in Fallout 76? And that being said, thank you a lot for watching, and see you all in the next one.